right, let's talk about how to use check-in to perform attendance. And after you've done the check-in, take a look at your follow-up if you have some follow-up items that occur as a result of check-in. So a couple of things you want to make sure are in place before you start using the check-in module. The first thing is to make sure you have a location that you want to check in to. The key is that when you do the check-in by location, that location check-in is going to require you to have a group that is associated with the location, so that when attendance is performed, the attendance is associated with the group that's attached to the location for which you're checking people in. So hopefully that makes sense. Here I've created the group called Nursery, and the Nursery has on it the Test 1 group. That's the Nursery Test 1 group. I've marked it as a guardian is required during check-in, and that's one of my basic things I want to set up for this process. Now, to begin the check-in activity with that location, I want to go into planning, people planning, or underneath planning, people planning. I'll choose configure check-in. And from configure check-in, I'm going to go ahead and choose, actually I was already here, so I'm going to go ahead and choose Kiosk New Window. So this is going to open for me a check-in kiosk, and we'll let this load. So this is not a video specifically talking about check-in. Other videos will do that, but it's helpful to know that when you load up the kiosk, you'll set it up with your settings. Sometimes you'll have some default settings stored. In this case, I'll act as though I don't. So when check-in starts, I want to look up name. I want to indicate that I'm checking into the nursery. And you see down here that it tells me that I'm checking in for the Test 1 group. Don't want to choose an event here. I'm checking into a location. And then here I'll tell it I'm not printing any labels, so I'll say 0 labels and no printer. And I also can choose a default registration form. I'll choose the check-in registration form. And then from here, I'll indicate that I want to on search display parents and children, and on check-in display parents and children. Another key thing I'll do in this case, because my location is attached to this Test 1 group, I'll also make it to where when people register, or when they first get in the system, or they get checked in, I want to assign them to the Test 1 group. So this will be a group assignment upon check-in. Hit continue, and now I have my kiosk loaded. Now I have my kiosk loaded, and all my settings are in place. And the first thing I'll try to do is look up a person by name. So we'll look up Smith. I can pick one of the Smith family folks and check in Smith. Check in. All right, let's go back and check in some more. Maybe one other person. Let's go to Doe, Martha Doe. And then check in Martha. Notice that Kylo's already checked into Children's Church, so I can't. I can check him out at Children's Church and then pull him into here. As a matter of fact, why not? Let's check him out at Children's Church. Check him out of there, and then check both of these into Nursery. Okay, so now I've checked in some people that are already in the system. Let's go ahead and check in someone who just showed up today. So let's just say the child's name is Blaine. Child's birth date. Child's not born in the future. All right. Parent's first name. Last name, address. Now you'll notice that these fields are this is not about forms in this video, but these fields are mapped to contact information that's in the form. So once I do this, this is going to create a record with the parent being there and then the child being attached to the parent as part of a family. All right. Then I'm going to say this is a first-time guest and then hit submit form.
Baby, it smells like sweat.
Okay, I got the form situated. It was submitted. The data's in there. And now I'm going to close that form out. No, actually, I don't close the form out. I just go ahead and click done down here at the bottom. And now I can look up by name again. I want to look up Childs. All right, there's Blaine and there's Howard. So I'm going to choose, it's pulling everyone up by, it's pulling up children and parents when it does that search. So I'm going to go to Howard Childs. Blaine and Howard are in the same family, so I'm going to check in Blaine and Howard, the dad and the son. Check them in. So now they're in there. So now I've done check in where I've gotten the family created that was not in the system before. I've gotten I've checked in people that were in the system, and so now I'm going to go back and take a look at my attendance. Let's say check-in's over. We're done for the day, check in, close the kiosk. Now we're going back on the next day or later on that day and taking a look at attendance for the event that occurred. So I'm going to go to people, go to planning, people planning, and attendance. So notice here that because I have associated my location with a group, that allows, that causes the system to create a check-in, to create an attendance record with the people that showed up. So you see here right away, we had Kyle, Elizabeth, Howard, Martha, and Blaine that showed up. If I go and view the attendance, you'll notice here that that Martha, Kyle, Howard, and Elizabeth were checked in now. And notice here that it says that they were not members of the group. What this is telling us is that when I went and searched for these folks, these individuals that were already in the system, they were not specifically in this group, and so they're considered guests. Of course, Blaine, because he was added as a child in this case, was added as a group member, so he's in there. Again, just to be clear, when we added the parent in this case was not added the guardian wasn't added as a group member, but Blaine was added as a group member on here. And everyone else that was in the group is in here as being absent. If I want to go and take a look at Blaine or Howard's record, say I want to add Howard to this group, to the group that I just created and checked in for that was associated with the location, I would go into Howard's record, go to groups, and I would simply just add him to the list here. So I just go to test one group, apply that. And then I can go back to the attendance, take a look at some more people that were here. If I want to go to Blaine, if I click on Blaine's record again, these are two people that I added on the check-in day. You'll see here that he is actually in the test one group now as a result of that check-in process and registration process. The key there is that when I registered the child, that he was added to the group. And so another thing I want to point out is that inside the form, you'll notice that the check-in registration form, that we have a submission for this day. And in that submission, you'll see here that Blaine Childs was added. See, Blaine was the person that was registered. Again, the dad was also, he was attached to the child's record, but Blaine was the one for whom the form was submitted. And if I go and view the form, it shows me all the data associated with it. And as I said before, there are some mappings that were added that are displaying here. So all those mappings are set up: first name for the child, last name for the child, and then date of birth. And then, of course, a head of household is created as a part of the check-in. Now, if for this form, say, for example, you want to make it to where when someone submits this form, that would kick off a series of follow-up actions. This is not a video about follow-up, but at least know you can go into the planning tool, follow-up paths, And during check-in, you can, let's say you have this particular path here. You can go ahead and change this process to say when you complete a form, it already has it there. Looks like I was testing it before. When the person is added or completes that form, they are added to the integration team group. So this path would be triggered as a result of the form being completed. And so a moment ago, we registered Blaine for the group. And so notice that Blaine was applied, the follow-up path was applied for Blaine. And so he was added to the group. And we saw that a moment ago that under Blaine's record, he was both in that integration team group, but also in the test one group. Again, the key here is that, just one point to clarify, during the check-in process, the form that you complete during registration is for the child, in this case, that was being checked in. And so that's why all these things that you see attached, the execution of the workflow, the group assignment, those occur in conjunction with or as an effect of the child being registered. So hopefully that's clear. If it's confusing, please reach out to us and let us know. We're always here to help. Maybe watch it again and it'll make more sense. But thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy using the check-in module in the system.